Push-ups are one of the best exercises that increases your strength and builds muscles like that of the chest, shoulder, and the triceps. Well, some people take this exercise to the extreme and go beyond 100 push-ups each day. We saw Saitama from One Punch Man do it. And heck, he achieved the results. So, are we supposed to follow him? But have you ever wondered how many push-ups are you supposed to do in a day? Let's not stop here, because we are sure we have already activated your thinking cells. Now you have a list of questions such as which muscles are involved when doing a push-up, what muscles will grow as a result of this exercise, what about the injuries and things like is it even worth it? Well, don't worry, we will cover all your concerns in this video and provide you with claims and evidences. But before we begin, take a moment and listen. If you are skipping push-ups in your workout routine, you are missing out on a lot. Well, push-ups like any exercise help you tone and build your muscles. But what makes it different from other exercises is the fact that push-ups are a multi-joint exercise that require movement at more than one joint at a time. So, this basically means they require contraction of various large and small muscle groups together. That is how you get to target more muscles in less time. For this reason, push-ups stand out as the most effective and accessible forms of strength training. This video therefore will uncover the science behind push-ups and investigate its role in muscle building. So, push-ups help you build muscles, a known fact. But how many push-ups are required in a day to build muscle? Now that is something that not everyone knows and certainly is unaware about. This video will optimize your push-up routine to maximize muscle growth. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's briefly take a look at the health benefits of push-ups. Health benefits of push-ups. Beyond getting bigger muscles, push-ups help strengthen bones, thereby reducing bone loss, helps improve posture and supports your cardiovascular health. This is to such an extent that a study published in JAMA Network Open in 2019 showed that participants who were able to do a set number of push-ups within a short period of time were at much lower risk of developing heart disease or heart attack. In order to see how push-ups contribute to muscle growth, let's first understand the concept of muscle hypertrophy. The science of muscle hypertrophy. Now, muscle hypertrophy is basically the enlargement of muscle fibers that are driven by two types of stimuli: mechanical tension and metabolic stress. Muscle tension occurs as muscles generate force against resistance. In contrast, metabolic stress is a result of accumulation of metabolites like lactate that develops during high repetition exercises. Now, push-ups are basically a compound movement that engages a number of muscle groups. This includes your pectorals, deltoids, triceps, largest of the chest muscles, and the core, which are particularly effective at creating both mechanical tension and metabolic stress. So, this is what makes push-ups an ideal exercise when it comes to inducing muscle hypertrophy. Now let's take a look at the mechanism of muscle growth. Mechanisms of muscle growth. When you perform push-ups, the muscles experience tension which arises from the body weight resistance. This tension thereby disrupts the integrity of the muscle fibers, which leads to mechanotransduction. This is a process where mechanical stimuli are converted into chemical signals that promote muscle growth. Now let's take a look at another concept here, which is eccentric contractions. So, eccentric contractions happens where muscles lengthen under tension. You can notice this when you lower your body during a push-up. This movement causes microscopic damage to your muscle fibers, which automatically triggers an inflammatory response, activating the satellite cells that are responsible for muscle repair and growth. When you repeat push-up sets, it leads to the accumulation of metabolic byproducts such as lactate. And this metabolic stress induces a hypoxic low oxygen environment that occurs within muscles. This in turn promotes the release of anabolic hormones such as growth hormone and testosterone, the crucial hormones for muscle hypertrophy. To sum it up, let's precisely see what muscles are involved when we do push-ups. This action also strengthens other muscles like the anterior deltoid, which is the front of the shoulder, and one's triceps minus the back of the upper arm. You can also notice movement in one's abdominal muscles, quadriceps and hip flexors, along with other smaller stabilizing muscles around your shoulders and upper back. This idea is further validated by Loren Fishman, MD, who is a professor of physical medicine and rehabilitation at Columbia University. According to him, some of the smaller muscle groups strengthened by push-ups are quite significant. These include rhomboid muscles, which keep the shoulder blades together, one's pectoralis muscle, which holds the arms parallel, and one's serratus anterior muscle, which retains the shoulder blades close to the back ribs, he says. Now, since we are talking about the muscles involved in push-ups, let's get this more exciting. Let us draw some light on push-ups and muscle growth as evident by various scientific studies and researches present. Research on push-ups and muscle growth. We have a lot of data present when it comes to the link between push-ups and muscle growth. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research compared the effects of muscle hypertrophy of push-ups with bench press exercises. Results show that high repetition routine of push-ups induce similar level of muscle growth as traditional bench presses. Moreover, both these exercises target the same pectoral and triceps muscles. Another study published in PLOS ONE explored the impact of different push-up volumes on muscle hypertrophy. In this study, the participants were divided into groups that performed different numbers of push-ups. The push-ups ranged from 50 to 200. Results showed that a higher push-up volume led to greater increases in muscle size and strength up to a certain point. However, one thing interesting that came forward from the study was the idea that individual variability also plays an important role when it comes to optimal push-up volume. This is dependent upon baseline fitness levels, age and gender, thereby bringing us to the topic of determining the optimal number of push-ups. Now, push-ups for muscle growth requires considering both the volume and the intensity of the exercise. And of course, the number of push-ups or reps one does certainly determines how much muscle is maintained, developed or toned. It is therefore pretty understandable that muscles only grow after being broken down enough to rebuild. So, for some, it means performing several push-up sets at a time, while for others, starting with few will be a good place to start. But remember, it is important to be mindful of any injuries, and recovery and rest is also essential between strenuous workouts. Sleep and recovery are two essential factors when it comes to muscle growth and enhancement. Well, many of us forget that and face consequences. Once you are aware of these things, your muscle tone and mass built will automatically convert into the number of reps you are willing to do consistently. This can be rather explained through the words of Fishman. Power is raising the capacity of a given muscle mass above its current ability. Repeated demanding exercise generates greater power. So, friends, if that's like too much information, take a deep breath and move forward, because now we shall give you some numbers. As per research, performing push-ups to failure is crucial for maximizing hypertrophy, as it ensures that muscles are subjected to sufficient tension and metabolic stress. However, the total number of push-ups vary amongst individual depending how they advance. For beginners, it is recommended to perform 3 sets of 10 to 15 push-ups at least 3 times per week. This would rather serve as a solid foundation, and as the strength and endurance improves, individuals can increase their volume to 3 to 5 sets of 20 to 30 push-ups performed 4 to 5 times a week. This will automatically enhance the muscle growth. As these individuals advance, they can go up to 200 to 300 push-ups per day and divided into multiple sets that may continue throughout the day. This is how you challenge your muscles and promote hypertrophy. Progressive overload. Now guess what? Progressive overload and variations. This is basically a fundamental principle in strength training that involves the gradual increase of stress that is placed on muscles during exercise. This practice in turn stimulates muscle growth, and for this reason, research often stresses upon the need to continually stimulate muscle growth. It is, however, essential to progressively increase the difficulty of push-up workouts. Now, how can you achieve this? You can do this by increasing repetitions and adding resistance. You can do this by altering hand placement and implementing variations progressively. Also, you can increase the number of push-ups you perform in each set. This is rather the best way to apply progressive overload, as consistently challenging the muscles with higher volumes of work stimulates continuous muscle growth. You can further enhance this by introducing external resistance in the form of wearing a weighted vest or placing a weight plate on your back. Use resistance bands and enhance the muscle building potential by amplifying mechanical tension. You can also vary your hand placements during push-ups, such as wide hand close grip and diamond push-ups that targets different muscle groups. Such variations are ways to introduce new challenges to prevent plateaus. Implementing variations like plyometric push-ups, archer push-ups, one-arm push-ups, and handstand push-ups. All these variations keep workouts fresh, engages different muscle fibers, and promotes overall muscle development. Now, while we have been solely focusing on push-ups, let's see how to balance push-ups along with other exercises. Balancing push-ups with other exercises. Although push-ups are excellent when it comes to building muscles, it is also important to incorporate a balanced exercise routine, as it is essential to target major muscle groups. Did you know that relying solely on push-ups can lead to muscular imbalances, especially in the lower body and back? Therefore, when you incorporate exercises such as squats, deadlifts, rows and lunges, you will be able to ensure comprehensive strength development and prevent injuries. In addition, when you are able to include compound movements such as bench presses and pull-ups, these exercises can actually complement your push-up routine, as it provides a varied stimulus for the muscles. Therefore, all you need is a well-rounded workout program that will not only enhance your overall muscle growth but will also improve functional strength and athletic performance, but at the same time promote long-term fitness and health recovery. This brings us to an important topic of recovery and nutrition. Recovery and nutrition. It is important to understand that nutrition muscle growth won't occur when you work out. It would rather take place during the recovery period. And we all are aware of the fact that adequate recovery is important for muscle repair and growth. This also involves sufficient sleep and a rest of 48 hours between intense push-up sessions. In this regard, incorporating active recovery techniques like stretching and foam rolling may be greatly helpful. Now coming to nutrition, well, that plays a major role in muscle hypertrophy. All you need to do is consume a diet rich in protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates, as this provides the necessary building blocks for muscle repair and growth. To achieve this, you need to target a protein intake of 1.6 to 2.2 g per kilogram of body weight per day. This is what research recommends, especially when it comes to supporting muscle protein synthesis. In addition to this, staying hydrated and maintaining a balanced intake of micronutrients will optimize your overall health and muscle building efforts. Things you need to do when performing push-ups every day. It may sound tempting to do push-ups every day. Let us say, you heard somewhere that doing 100 push-ups a day will get you your dream body, and you start from day one. But many a times, this is a goal that you won't be able to achieve, especially if you are just a beginner. As per the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology, individuals who ranked fair on their fitness levels performed up to 20 push-ups in a row. This means you would require several sets to achieve that 100 push-up goal, but realistically speaking, you won't achieve that in the first few days or even in the first week. But lucky enough, your neural adaptations will step in to help you. This is when, though your muscles haven't grown enough, your brain will improve its ability to recruit the right push-up muscles. And then you will see how strength improves. Things to remember when you perform push-ups. Well, coming back to the things to be careful of while performing daily push-ups, we have already told you to start slow. And why are we telling you this? Well, to achieve the best results. You can't bring anyone who is fond of being a couch potato to do 100 push-ups on the first day. So, as you start, you are likely to experience muscle soreness in the initial weeks. This will reduce as you progress, but remember, we initially told you that when you work out, you basically tear your muscles. It is actually during the rest period that you recover and your muscles grow bigger and stronger. It was in 1997 that researchers were interested in finding how long does the recovery process take. They found that your muscles continue to grow and recover even 48 hours after your workout session. So, based on this, if you do push-ups every day continuously without a break, reflecting working on the same muscles, then you are not giving them time to recover. For this reason, we stress so much on resting in between. Otherwise, soon after 2 to 3 weeks you will experience immense fatigue. This won't do any good, right? Because this will eventually decrease your push-up performance. But here is one important thing we need to talk about. Muscle imbalance. We have mentioned earlier about adding other exercises along with push-ups. Let's talk about it again, with a little variation. Push-ups are great at training the front pushing muscles of your body. In this way your back isn't involved. Now if you only perform push-ups daily, the stronger front muscles will over time start to pull your body forward into a hunched over position with your shoulders rounded forward. Ideally, to balance this out, you'd want to perform plenty of back work focused on the muscles that'll help you keep you upright and shoulders healthy, even as you're doing 100 push-ups a day. Joint discomfort. Now we understand the idea about muscle imbalance. But here, when you do push-ups regularly, there is something you will soon begin to notice about your joints. The repetitive motion of push-ups can create a lot of strain, especially on your wrists and elbows. And we all know the wrists require a lot of mobility as you perform a push-up on the floor. This means a lot of weight that they are not used to. So, you will begin to notice wrist discomfort very soon. Do not worry, as there are ways to mitigate this. You can try to do push-ups with handles or dumbbells, anything that allows you to grip it instead of placing your hands flat on the floor. As for your elbows, pay attention to the bottom position of your push-up. If they don't remain aligned directly on top of your wrists as you perform the push-up, then you're creating more stress on your elbow joints. Do not worry, as there are ways to mitigate this. You can try to do push-ups with handles or dumbbells, anything that allows you to grip it instead of placing your hands flat on the floor. As for your elbows, pay attention to the bottom position of your push-up. If they don't remain aligned directly on top of your wrists as you perform the push-up, then you're creating more stress on your elbow joints. And in most of the studies, it is found that the max number of push-ups individuals could do in a row was 3 sets of around 30 reps each, with resting days in between. Yet they experienced significant growth. Over the course of 8 weeks, they experienced the following: chest growth, 18.3% increase in the muscle thickness, equating to about a 3 mm increase in thickness. Triceps growth, 9.5% increase in growth, equating to about a 3 mm increase in thickness. Now that is quite an amazing number, right? So friends, when it comes to building muscles, push-ups win the game. This is because of its ability to create mechanical tension, muscle damage and metabolic stress. However, when we talk about the number of push-ups and the reps to build muscles, it highly depends on individual factors like the level of fitness, age and gender. As per the various researches present, the key strategies involved in doing push-ups for optimal muscle growth involves performing push-ups to failure and progressively increasing the volume and intensity of your workouts. This maximizes muscle hypertrophy. When it comes to beginners, however, they can start with a moderate volume and gradually increase their push-up routine as they gain strength and endurance. As you advance, you can definitely benefit from high-volume push-up routines and challenge your muscles with variations. Remember, when it comes to exercising, we have continuously mentioned to include other exercises too along with push-ups and focus on recovery and nutrition. Make sure your muscles have the resources they need to grow. And when it comes to the best approach of building muscles with push-ups, you need to understand the science behind muscle hypertrophy, and by applying progressive overload principles you can effectively use push-ups to achieve significant muscle growth and improve upon your strength and overall fitness. We hope you liked today's video. Remember to share it with your friend and help them achieve their fitness goals. Have an amazing day.